Welcome into another Purple Insider Extra. Jonathan Harrison here, once again joined by Purple Insider's Matthew Coller. So breaking the fourth wall here a bit, Matthew Coller. This is a bit of a cross promotion, what we do here between Bring Me the News and your company, Purple Insider. So let's steal a bit from the Purple Insider podcast, which you do every day. Find it wherever you get your podcasts. Coller, I'm going to outright steal the pie chart you made ESPN's Courtney Cronin do the other day on the podcast and ask you your pie chart of how far you think the Vikings can go in the playoffs. For those who haven't listened, first off, what are you doing? Get to it already. Listen to the podcast. Secondly, the four options were losing the first round, losing the second round, losing the NFC Championship game, or get to the Super Bowl. Your pie chart, sir.
Yeah, I think that the first game, if it is indeed against the New York Giants, which is how it looks at the moment, that could change. But if it is, then I would probably go 50-50. I think that's a coin flip. And when you look at the last time they played the Giants, it was a coin flip game, and it came down to a 61-yard field goal that the Vikings were able to make. But had Greg Joseph not made that kick, they would have been going to overtime. So I think it's fair to say it's a 50-50 shot. The Vikings, of course, have a slight edge playing at US Bank Stadium, but considering the way the Giants played against them the last time and the talents of the Giants, with whether it's Saquon Barkley or their defensive line, their ability to blitz on defense, I mean, I think that's still a fairly dangerous team. And the Vikings only play extremely close games. So it's going to, unless they lose, but usually their wins are extremely close games against teams like the Giants. So I would say it's a total coin flip for the first round. And if they get past the first round, I think that those odds go down. There can always be upsets in other places, but it kind of looks like a collision course with the San Francisco 49ers. And I feel like we're getting a little too far down the road to make this guess. But based on some of the weaknesses and the inconsistencies of the Vikings that they've shown in the second half of the season, where it's either a slight win by 3 points or 5 points or a blowout loss, I mean, going multiple games deep into the playoffs, I think is just going to be difficult for them because of some of their weaknesses. So I would say we've used 50%. Let's go 30 more percent for that. So 80% chance that they lose within the first two rounds. And then I will say a 17% chance it's a loss in the NFC Championship and 3% that they reach the Super Bowl. And then who knows what happens there. And I think if you look at the Vegas odds, which are kind of a nice guidepost for something like this, that's about where they would put them. I thought it was interesting looking at DraftKings Super Bowl odds, where the Packers and the Vikings have the same odds to win the Super Bowl, and the Packers aren't even officially in the playoffs yet and need to win to get in. So that kind of tells you that the Vikings are not much respected by the gambling universe. And just, I think in general, if you were ranking the teams that could win the Super Bowl, you'd probably have them behind almost all of the AFC teams, except for maybe one or two, and at least three of the NFC teams. So they've got an uphill road to battle here, but this has also been an extremely crazy season for the Minnesota Vikings. And earlier this year on the show, I called it the anything is possible season. So that's the way I would put it. Anything is possible, regardless of how I fill out my pie chart.
Anything's possible!
Kind of made it a little tricky there at the end. That's been another Purple Insider Extra for Bring Me the Sports. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the Purple Insider podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Talk to you next time.